about what they did, although it was a really great initiative, and I have to give Dallas County credit for that, City of Dallas, is I feel like location is a problem. You put retail stores on a street in a community that doesn't have any money to support that kind of activity. Mm-hmm. If they were in a different part of town, which is why I put our students in our incubators, in our previous stores, were always in luxury, high-class malls, high traffic locations, because the goal is for them to make money. And if they can't make money, I had to kind of learn how to balance when foot traffic is most important or owning the space. I think sometimes if you get too wrapped up in the need to own a space prematurely, then you'll miss out on the power and the magic of paying a little bit more for it and just trading that in exchange for the foot traffic, because you need attention. And that money can also, you also reduce your marketing budget, which should be able to cover for the extra amount of rent you're going to pay. And so, like I said, those concepts work when they are in locations that support, good traffic, that are safe, where the community around it can afford to support it. I said at one point, we're not Robin Hood, I'm Robin Good. And at the same time, I'm not robbing anybody. But, conceptually, how Robin Hood would steal from the rich to get to the poor. I'm like, no, we put our incubators over there in their communities. We're just going to sell them something. Okay. They're going to come in and buy from us. And those kids are able to take that to whatever community that they want. But I think, like I said, being strategic in how we look at and where we look at spaces. Opportunity zones are great, but it's like, if we need spaces that have traffic, so that when you put a retail space there for them to sell and you put their house in behind it, that store makes enough money for them to pay some bills, right?
Well, most opportunity zones, right, they're not desolate. They're not like most of the last version of opportunity zones. Downtown Portland was an opportunity zone. Right? And so it just depends. Yeah. So it depends. We're not talking about enterprise zones, which is that's a different function. So it depends. But to your point, and to that point, every state has to redraw their opportunity zones, right? So as you're thinking about where you want your properties, you should be lobbying your legislator to make sure that you get zoned into an opportunity zone.
Done. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. And I mean, like I said, it might be motels, but putting them and making sure they're in places where there is, main roads and a decent degree of daily, even driver traffic. If you can't get foot traffic, you need driver traffic. I personally prefer foot traffic because obviously we can reach out and talk to people, right? They're right there. In the car, I can't reach out and talk to you. Right. So, like I said, for us, malls has been the strategy. But I think that our position and just being in close proximity and being able to work with executives from Brookfield Properties, which is now GGP, and they're the second largest mall owner in the world. They own 160 shopping malls nationwide. I think that there's going to be some unique opportunity in commercial real estate over the next 5 years. And I think it would behoove us as African Americans and Black people to get in on the building and getting these spaces, acquiring them, because this, I would say, e-commerce to brick and mortar pipeline, that is just about to be a trend and a shift. And there is not enough retail space to capture the vast majority of people that are going to need it. And the other leap for them is they really don't need to make that leap. They're going, it's probably not even really feasible for them. In some cases, you're building out $100,000 space and you're taking on a triple net lease that may cost you $10,000. So how, our ability to, create unique environments and environmental retail spaces, like what we're doing in Incubator, and owning the property that they sit on, right, what I would see is going to be a unique real estate strategy for the Black community. If people can pull their funds together and help acquire this real estate that right now is pretty, is a lot of it on the market because of the decline in major big box retail. I think that, if enough Black people can pull together their funds and buy up shopping centers, I think in the next 5 years, we'd be surprised about where that leads.
So, Crystal, on my radio show today, we talked about tokenization of real estate. And I think what the tokenization and the blockchain will enable people to do is buy fractional interest in development with smart contracts. And so it's a financing for the future with decentralized financing. And you don't have to worry about going to the bank. and people are able to pool their money and their resources. So developing crowdfunding within the community, everybody is not broke. And
Right.
so folks get an opportunity to be able to invest. And with the blockchain, you don't have to worry about what your interests actually are. And you're able to quantify, but also with the smart contract, you're able to see it in real time with transparency.
Awesome. Yeah. And we're going to have to be creative in how we finance it, because we all know that, when you're working with certain communities, the money isn't as free flowing. But that's the goal. And this is why I said, it is important to be strategic about how we fund these initiatives, because we know that grants and contracts and some of that is not going to be in our best interest. So we have to build, I think the way for us to navigate through that is to figure out how to make our missions, our nonprofits, more sustainable without that money.
Mm-hmm.
We might not get it. And then if you get it and then it goes away, then what? Right. And we all get tired of galas and fundraisers and double good popcorn. I mean, some things we got to just leave for the kids to do, right? And I think that, again, there's going to be a way, especially, like I said, nonprofits powering together. I think that there's going to be a very unique way to keep, again, communities funded in these good initiatives that we're doing for the communities that need it most, well funded, without having to constantly worrying about what foundation is going to give or not. Or that's at least the place of sustainability that I am aiming for us to be securely in by the end of this year.
I think crowdfunding using Bitcoin and decentralization.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore you're not dependent upon the banking system. And it's self-funding and it's self-sustaining. And it's decentralized.
So you're going to create your own token. You're going to create a 10K BA.
You can use existing tokens, or you can create tokens, but you want to use something that's going to be substantive and transparent. And there's already, if you look last week, BlackRock wrote an article about tokenizing the whole real estate industry, $630 trillion. Mm-hmm. And if they tokenize 10% of that, that's $63 trillion. It's already happening. The point is, are we going to be able to participate, or are we going to be playing catch up from behind? Because the other thing, once you get locked in with these smart contracts, now that undervaluation is going to be permanent, and it's going to make the wealth gap even further.
Wow. Well, guys, it's 9 o'clock. Well, 8 o'clock where you are, Crystal, but we've done an hour. We could easily do another hour. So I appreciate you guys taking the time. Someone in the chat has said, how can they contact you? I'll have Tracy will put up your websites again so people can see it and reach out to you guys. Your wealth of knowledge and resources and inspiration.
Crystal, I got to get you to commit to coming on to my radio show and podcast. I got to get you on.
Sure.
We record on Wednesdays and Sundays. So I need to make sure I get your contact information, and I want to reach out to you.
You guys are connected via text. So
I think so. Yeah, I'll text you my info.
Okay.
I appreciate the opportunity.
And then I'll see you both at the summit.
Okay.
Are you gonna have us in those little 5x5 sleeping rooms again?
If you're lucky, or outside on the streets, real estate's at a premium. We got some tents and porta potties this year. You're all good.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in DC, Crystal.
You too.
All right, guys.
Thanks for having us on, Kevin.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.